Does anyone have a dollar bill I can borrow? I'm here to get you invested tonight. Does anyone have a dollar bill? Have you seen the trick where the magician takes a dollar bill, or a 10 in this case, makes it disappear? That is not this trick. This is the trick where the magician takes the dollar bill and makes it disappear. Thank you. Does anyone have a 20 I can borrow? Courtney, what I'd like you to do is select a kiwi fruits, because maybe you're still hungry after the reception. If you could come down, Courtney, and just pick any kiwi you want. Take a kiwi, any kiwi. You sure you want that one?
Yeah.
You can change your mind.
Okay.
All right. Take a look at that. You don't see it in there? You've been holding that kiwi fruit the entire time, is that correct? Let me get you a napkin. Will you please open up that kiwi fruit? Is that your 10 with your signature on it? Courtney's 10 with her signature on it. I will see that later. Thank you, Courtney.
From the Blue Door in beautiful Culver City, ArtsUP LA presents What's Up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up, LA?
What's up, LA? What's up, LA? What's up, LA?
What's up, LA?
What's up, LA? Welcome to the April episode of What's Up, LA, your guide to everything that's happening in the LA arts community.
This month, we want you to join us in celebrating Autism Acceptance Month, dedicated to raising awareness, promoting understanding, and fostering acceptance of individuals with autism spectrum disorder. How? By using your voice and your platforms to spread the messages of acceptance, inclusion, and helping connect people to support services and one another.
Join us as we raise awareness to promote autism acceptance, celebrate neurodiversity and individual differences, and continue to advance inclusivity and connectedness throughout the community. And at ArtsUP LA, we renew our commitment to honoring the lived experiences of people with autism.
Autism Awareness Month has been celebrated since April 1970. It was started by Bernard Rimland, PhD, a psychologist and autism researcher. He chose the month of April to coincide with his son's birthday, as well as the start of spring, a time of new beginnings.
I love that. Now, autism itself has gone through its fair share of new beginnings, controversies about how to diagnose it, what could be factors causing it, to how to describe it. And we thought that giving a bit of the background of autism could be helpful. And I thought, well, who better to do that than one of my dear friends, August McAdoo.
Hi there, I'm August McAdoo, member of Rex and Friends here at ArtsUP LA and the sound engineer at the Blue Door. The term autism was first used by Eugene Bleuler in 1908 to describe a state of detachment and withdrawal. It wasn't until 1943 that Dr. Leo Kanner, who served as the chief of child psychology at Johns Hopkins, would use the term to describe a group of children, emphasizing their challenges with social interaction, communication, and repetitive behaviors. Independently, the following year, a name you might recognize, Dr. Hans Asperger, described a similar group of children with a milder form of autism that would later become known as individuals with Asperger's syndrome. Side note, the term Asperger's syndrome is no longer part of the clinical terminology. It has been integrated into the broader term autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. But we'll get back to that in a second. The 50s and 60s were uncertain times as researchers were trying to find ways to diagnose autism and coming up with some pretty awful theories on what caused autism along the way, including the refrigerator mother theory, which suggested that autism was a result of detached or uncaring parents. I think my mama would have a few choice words for whoever came up with that idea, which was obviously debunked. In 1994, the term autism spectrum was introduced by the American Psychology Association, and then in 2013, Asperger's syndrome was included under the umbrella ASD. Today, research continues to explore factors that contribute to ASD, different paths of autism advocacy, and how to best describe autism. And we will do our part here to help move those conversations forward.
Thank you, August. That was so helpful.
Perfect person for this job, indeed. We also got a chance to sit down with both Laurie Grant, the musical director of Rex and Friends, and some of our participants to hear it directly from them.
We are here with Rebecca Klinenberg and Laurie Grant. What I really wanted to talk about today with you two was about the autism spectrum itself. On the one hand, I think the general public often thinks of the spectrum as low functioning versus high functioning. And then I've also heard another camp that is every autistic person is different and you can't actually put it into one camp or another. It's just going to be so varied, just like a spectrum would be.
Yeah, there is a range for sure, from children who are completely nonverbal and will need to be supported throughout their life to people who are running companies and are CEOs. We do need more differential diagnoses, and you do need to get to know each child, and you need to look at all of their areas of development and address what needs to be addressed to support the child to be successful. And I think in all of the neurodiversity movement, a lot of people on the spectrum have come back and said, these are what approaches worked with them and what approaches didn't work with them, and which approaches were more stigmatizing and which approaches were more humanizing. And early education is the most crucial. I mean, when we catch kids early, kids who are having trouble socializing or having trouble regulating their bodies, and if we do interventions when they're really young, we get them back on track. We avoid their starting to form an opinion of themselves as there's something wrong with them. And we get them interacting with other kids and feeling successful, feeling like they have friends, feeling like they can express themselves.
So Laurie, I'd love to hear from you, because you do have, I think what's considered more high functioning, low functioning people within Rex and Friends.
Yeah.
But you work with all of them at the same time. And how do you kind of adjust on a case by case basis or on an individual basis?
Yeah, well, I think just being a teacher my whole life with music, I guess I do have that skill of trying to tune into everybody individually, and that everyone is very, very different, how they learn and process information, and music's no different. So some are more verbal, like Becky's saying, she's worked with nonverbal. Luckily, you have to be verbal and be able to sing to be in Rex and Friends. But Patrick came in not speaking much at all, and yet he could sing, anything, literally anything. Now we're going from that through all these years of interacting, giving him more to do, more to memorize. It's funny, he can memorize lyrics, he can memorize sounds and so many other things in his life, but it's been very hard to memorize dialogue. But now that he's learning to memorize dialogue, he is speaking more. He's speaking more. And his dad, Jim, has come and spoken to me about that. Like, this is a profound difference in him since we've been giving him dialogue. I'm giving him more to do as the years are going on. They have more to do, longer shows, more things to learn, and they're rising to the occasion. And I think it's spilling out into their whole life.
Singing is magic. It's when they do neural scans, it's located all over the brain. With the student who's learning to sing, it's like it uses your whole brain, and music, makes words flow.
So what is something about autism that most people don't understand?
A lot. It's hard to pick one. I think there's a lot of misconception that some autistic people are emotionless, or they don't experience emotion in the way that neurotypical people, normal people, whatever you want to say, experience. Not true, of course. You're still processing it like any other person would. So
we tend to be literal minded because we don't have much of a choice. We can't understand easily the context of what somebody is saying, so we can't fill in blanks. And they're uncomfortable with it. Most people are, because I have to yank them back to the beginning, before the beginning. And it's like starting a 100-yard dash from minus, 50 yards.
Are there aspects of autism that you've found beneficial?
I can be very, very detail-oriented, sometimes to a fault, but I'm very meticulous in the way I work with Rex and Friends, where I teach lessons, piano and voice, planning things with my fiance, or figuring out various things creatively for projects I'm writing. To me, I feel like you end up getting really good results that way.
For you, what's the preferred way to be described regarding autism?
How I like other people to call me or others with autism, just say autistic. you know, I go for the fewest syllables.
The way you want to be called is just accepting who you are and like, okay, you're autistic, you're autistic. You don't want to beat around the bush with it. Oh, I'm on the spectrum. I'm a person with autism. Like all that stuff. It's just for me, kind of fluff to just say you're autistic. And like, I've kind of in my life been like, oh, should I hide away from that? Should I hide away from that? And the last few years being part of this community at ArtsUP LA, Rex and Friends, and other situations where I'm like, I just want to, if I can, if the opportunity presents itself, just show who I am, be open with my diagnosis and not feel like there's any shame regarding it.
It means, well, that I am a bit different. And you better be prepared for it.
I feel like there is a stigma still to this day regarding being autistic, of that you can't function or fit into a neurotypical environment and normal workplace. So there's a lot of stigma still there. So I think the more we say, I'm autistic, that's okay. I'm not like everyone else, I'm different, but that's okay too. And I bring something new to the world, so.
And maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves because it doesn't open until next month, but we still want to give you some of the info about the shenanigans we're up to here at the Blue Door.
We are painting that door green. No, I'm kidding. But Theater by the Blind proudly presents The Enemy of Oz, an original play directed by Greg Shane, written by Christopher Urania.
The Enemy of Oz reimagines the classic world of the Wizard of Oz, entangling a new generation of characters in an adventure fraught with political ambitions, magical conflicts, and revenge.
When a fiery young politician discovers she's the secret daughter of Oz's most beloved hero, she sets out on a mission to topple the corrupt government she holds responsible for her mother's murder.
Ooh, scandalous. Don't miss the Theater by the Blind's take on this classic at the Blue Door Theater in Culver City from May 2nd through May 17th.
Brian, because you weren't here last month, right? I mean, you were here, but not like here at the desk. And I wanted to talk briefly about Looking Up, the new segment where we highlight the awesome parts of the human experience. We're going to be sharing uplifting stories that keep us connected and hopeful and optimistic.
We all need more of that. Having someone to root for, a feel-good story,
Yeah.
something we can connect with and brings us back to what really matters. Love it.
So, this week on Looking Up. Look even farther, even higher, because the International Space Station will be receiving its first person with a physical disability to ever take part in a mission.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for inclusivity. British Paralympian and orthopedic surgeon John McFall has been cleared for takeoff as the world's first disabled astronaut. McFall took up running after losing his leg in a motorbike accident at 19 years old.
He went on to win multiple medals for Great Britain in sprint events, but his latest endeavor looks set to rocket him from the running track to the International Space Station. Back in 2022, McFall was one of 16 men and women chosen from more than 22,000 applicants for the European Space Agency's first class of astronauts in 13 years.
He spent the following 2 years working with the ESA's groundbreaking Fly feasibility study, which set out to explore whether it was technically possible to put a parent astronaut into orbit.
The study concluded with a resounding yes, and the news that McFall has been greenlit to undertake a 6-month mission to the ISS. The Fly project will now move to a mission-ready phase, which will look at what potential scientific experiments he can conduct on the ISS, as well as certifying his prosthetic leg for spaceflight. And now, for my favorite part of every episode, it's April's community calendar. Start us off, Brian.
Desert X, free art exhibitions that activate desert locations through site-specific installations by acclaimed international artists. Free exhibits that respond meaningfully to the conditions of desert locations, the environment, and indigenous communities, and promote cultural exchange and education programs. Coachella Valley, California, until May 17th.
April 24th, the next installment of the Golden Screen series at the Culver Hotel, a screening of To Live and Die in LA. Dive into the gritty, high-stakes world of this classic with an exclusive screening. After the film, keep the adrenaline pumping with themed cocktails and bites at the Culver Hotel, 7 p.m.
Well, that's it for us in the April episode of What's Up LA.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our community. And thank you for supporting the independent arts in Los Angeles.
Till next time, I'm Brian Caldwell.
I'm Nina Renzel.
And that's What's Up?
So I was hoping I could get a few young people to come join me, and maybe we can show you a little game that helps us. So, I'd love for you to introduce yourselves real quick. Please tell the audience your names.
Mira, Vivica, Imogen, Lavinia, Ember, Matilda.
Wow, now this is a lot of volunteers, and I'm very excited. We're going to play a game, and it's called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-headed monster. It's an improv game. We have not planned this. We don't know what we're about to come up with. In fact, you're going to help us too. I'm really excited because joining us today, we have this 7-headed monster, and their name is
Abigail.
Abigail. Yes, and Abigail is from a far-off planet called Xenon. So, Abigail, each of you, a one-headed monster participant, you're each going to be able to answer me in only one word. Each of you, one word at a time. We'll add to the answers. And I'm really excited that you're here, Abigail from Xenon, because on your planet, I understand that things are pretty interesting. Tell me a little bit about planet Xenon.
It is a big planet, and it has lots of moss on the planet.
Absolutely. Plays a very important role in the lifestyle of inhabitants of planet Xenon. You do something very interesting with that moss. Can you tell me about the ingredient of the moss and what you do with it?
Well, make steeped tea
With the
eggs on the moss with sugar
and
treats.
And treats. Most of the time that process is self-explanatory and relatively not dangerous, but I did understand that there was a mishap recently and something went wrong with that whole process. Will you expound upon this so we can avoid future accidents?
Okay. Well, we decided to do a dance. It is to much very
weird and beautiful.
So we like to row.
Yes.